Welcome to Budget Outlaws. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Dan.
And today is going to be our dyno day video. Today did not go as we expected. The whole day was designed probably about 2 months ago or so, and decided, okay, since we couldn't attend a certain event, let's go ahead and make our own. And one of the reasons for that is, hey, Dad needs to get his car tuned. So there's a local tuner near me. Let's go ahead and have him come down and get his car all prepped up, and we'll get it on the dyno and get it all properly tuned. Then after that, next day, we'll go for a drive. So what did you end up doing for the prep? I know we had the last video where you went in and did a 22-minute recap,
yeah.
But
so we'll just do the 2-second recap. So we added a wastegate because it was over boosted, and we got the boost under control, and then we put in a stronger clutch disc. We thought it was going to be the answer for that, because the other one was slipping when you get up about 12-13 psi. And so that's all done. That's in. We'd previously put better fueling in so it can handle the fuel. We were all set. I think we were, and tires. We had brand new tires. So
okay. And then as far as my car goes, it's pretty much on the street fairly regularly, so I don't really have to do much. But I did do a couple of things. We changed the tires out for our drive. We did just a basic fluid check and an oil change and a nut and bolt on the car. And then one of the big things I did was I was running into issues with my boost controller. So decided to switch it over the firmware to the newer firmware. And unfortunately, one of the issues that I had was that it wasn't responding very well. So coming into the dyno day, driving to the dyno day, realized, you know what, I'm not going to be able to really do anything other than a wastegate pull, which I already pretty much know what that's going to be making. It's right around 250 or so wheel horsepower. So drive to the dyno day and get to the actual dyno, and then what happens?
So I have a power switch, a battery cutoff switch, and I left it on all trip home. And when I do that, it drains the battery.
So use the parts runner to go get a battery. Yay! So, what did we learn?
What did we learn? We learned not to leave this power switch turned on all day and all night. And we also learned that battery is taller than the other one, so now I can't tie it down.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I'll have to come up with something.
I was looking for, I need to fix my wiring.
Yeah.
Then we get the car on the dyno, strap it down, put an actual air fuel wideband O2 directly on the header, because you had an open port, and get everything lined up. I think one of the biggest things was how the car was anchored and mounted. It was a freestanding dyno, you can move it around, and so we had to essentially strap the car to the actual dyno, not to like concrete or anything, which normally do on most dynos, at least dynos that are in ground. And we had an issue with the straps.
Well, the car rolled and then it slid over, and that was touching the strap was touching or the bracket was touching the tire.
Yeah,
So
and
we started smoking tires before we even got started.
Yeah.
On it. But yeah, I did shred a little bit of tire off of it. You can look and see. It's not too bad. But
Get through that, and he's looking over the tune. He spends 2-3 hours going over the tune, and it's all attributing to these injectors that he just doesn't like. A lot of tuners are very picky, and they want to make sure that they produce a very good tune. He was trying to tune based on the VE, or the volumetric efficiency table, and nothing was scaling right. Everything was kind of odd. Now you had programmed in the numbers. I don't know nearly enough of that information.
Yeah, so the injector had certain numbers that you have to put in, and so I put them in when I got them. And then recently I told the injector guys that I was getting the dyno, and so they sent me new numbers, and I had thought I'd put those in. In fact, I knew I did, and I must have switched back to an old tune, and that was part of the problem. So he had those new numbers. He tried those. He tried his numbers. He tried somebody else's numbers. Nothing, of course. So he finally adjusted them the way he thought they needed to be adjusted, and then moved forward with the tune, and got it, running pretty good. Got it idling good, and so we don't know how that's going to go. We haven't even had a chance to drive it, but we'll get to that in a minute.
So after that, you could sense that the tuner was a little bit frustrated, and so we decided to just hit it once without any of us really knowing that he was going to get it on the dyno to a pull. Obviously, the car's on the rollers for, at this point, probably 4 hours, and we hit it, and I had never heard it before. And got into it, got out, got back into it. He was having some issues with some surging, but it sounded insane. It was just nuts. So at that point, now we're starting to get into it. We're finally starting to go, okay, let's go ahead and start making some pulls. And it's going to pull after pull after pull. We're noticing one common issue, and that's we're having slippage. And it seemed like it was tire slippage.
There was a lot of tire smoke.
There was a lot of tire smoke. There was a lot of just everything. And the other thing was the exhaust was smoking just a little bit. Nothing overly profuse. It was just enough so that it was kind of masking what was really going on. But we spent probably 2 hours trying to go through and do power pulls. There's quite a lot of them, but every single time we were changing the scale on the dyno, trying to either slow it down or speed it up, checking the different gears, and nothing seemed to let the car actually hold anything. It was clearly making some serious power, but nothing was getting through the rollers, or at least nothing was really showing on the numbers. I think the max number that we saw was 301 wheel horsepower, when clearly it was making north of 455.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Now, in regards to the pressure that we were testing it at, we were still slightly above wastegate, about 6 pounds. So yeah, roughly 550 wheel
Yeah.
at that point. And the numbers were looking good in regards to the air fuel ratio. That was one of the biggest things that he commented on. The first things that he commented on was that it was looking pretty good as far as the table for the power. And from there, it was just constantly working on that. He spent another hour and a half working on that. And
Yeah, he was looking at every single table, which was good because I probably messed with too many of them.
so
And he, it's a, yeah, let's keep going.
So at that point, decided to call it a day. We weren't getting anywhere. We weren't going to make any numbers. Okay. But we still had some issues with the tunes. Worked that out with the tuner, and trailered it back to my house. And then the following day, today, we decided to go for our long drive. And unfortunately, the real issue popped up. Not with this car.
Hey, how many years did it take?
5.
So I got a couple more years before I need to get
That's
all
right,
mine
that's
straightened out.
The issue is the clutch. So
My clutch.
his clutch. It's very clear that we glazed it. He only had 5-10 miles on it, and then roller miles probably had another 20 or 30. He really spent a lot of time on the rollers, but it was not holding. Now it's a puck clutch, and it's possible that needed to go through a specific procedure for break-in, and it's also possible that clutch disc was just bad. So find out in a couple months what really happened.
When I really get a nerve to get back into it.
But yeah, it's a shame that was the end result. So here we are. We're without any real numbers on what potentially the fastest 914 is, but we're here. We're all safe. The engine's okay. The transmission's okay. The clutch disc is not.
Or something to do with the clutch, for sure. That was it was fun to get out and do that. It was fun to get out on the dyno, and it was so exciting to hear it run on the dyno.
Definitely one of the best sounding cars I've ever heard, especially from the outside. It's interesting. It does not make a lot of turbo noises. You don't hear the blow-off valves. You don't hear the turbo spool very much. Now, granted, it's only spooling like 6 pounds, but this car spooling 6 pounds versus this car spooling 6 pounds, you can hear this turbo all day long. You can hear every single thing that this turbo does. That turbo.
Well, my blow-off valve's in the trunk, so you're not exactly going to hear it.
Yeah, you've got that big V8 engine that's completely blocking a lot of noises. So, but regardless, it's a really cool car, and we can't wait to finally.
Oh, I felt it. It's scary fast.
Yeah. Well, the last video you saw, there was a lot of really good in-driving content, especially at the end, where you did that whole lap. Okay, so what's next? Well, you're gonna head home. You're gonna head home and put in a new clutch, and you're gonna keep the draggy and actually do some draggy runs.
Okay, I can do that.
And put it on the track. Let's see what it can do. I think it's got enough tuning now that you should be able to make your pulls. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a completely unsuccessful weekend, but it definitely could have been better.
Thought we were so prepared.
Oh gosh. But that happens. Cars are always about this. So, all right, and then for me, we're going to go through and test out the new boost controller settings. I think we're this close to actually getting it to work. Uploaded a couple of new files this morning. We're gonna do a pretty long drive, but that got canceled because of that. So that's all right. We'll do it another day. So, okay. Until next time. We'll see you guys later.